Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Build a Castle episode 3. In the last episode we continued building the walls around and added an extra couple of towers at the end of them. And we also started work on the courtyard. In this episode we're going to completely finish the walls now, and then after we do that we're going to start looking at the front entrance, bridging the gap in between this island to the mainland, connecting the castle to the city. Before doing that though, there's a couple of areas I want to revisit. The first one is changes to the cliff face of the bottom of the tower we built at the end of the last episode. The wall looked too large and it looked like it was unable to support its own weight. So by using the sphere tool out of the voxel sniper mod again, I expanded the cliff out to solve the problem. I then used the smooth fill and melt tool to blend this section in with the rest. My second issue was with the keep and the courtyard, that they're on the same level. With traditional castle design, the keep is raised above the courtyard on a motte overlooking the bailey. So to stay true with that, I decided to raise up the foundations of the keep. First by extending the walls up so I can keep the layout of my foundation, and then going around using the same technique as before, adding the earth in. Now that's done, we will now carry on with the wall. To start with, I added this tower, what I copied over from one of the previous towers we've already built. That way it saves time. And then I just connected it with a small wall. Then on the other side I placed down this tower, using the walls tool out of World Edit, thickened the base like I have done in the past with the rest of the build, and then on each chord I added these circular turrets. Once I bridged the gap in between the two, I then continued to add detail to the wall. The first floor, since I haven't put any windows in, will possibly hold a dungeon or cells, and then moving up we have these large windows on the building. These will probably be for the monarch's living space, as directly above this at the top of this tower will be the monarch's sleeping quarters. For the roof of the tower, I decided to extend the turrets up above the rest of the roof so it didn't appear too flat, and then in doing that I copied that whole side over to the north face, again to save time. I added a square wooden steeped roof to the top, making sure that it was inset into the building so there was still a walkway around the outside, and then had a go at capping off the top of the turrets. My original idea was to add another room up there, maybe as a lookout tower, but felt that it didn't fit the theme, so I went back and then added just a regular steeped roof. I felt it looked a little plain and that it was missing something, so I decided to extend down the crenellations from the top. Once I was happy with it all, I then went down to the bottom and extended the cliff face out again so it supports the tower. We now come round to this final section and then the walls will be finally completed. Doing the same thing as I did before with the other wall, I started it by adding this square tower and then bridging the gap with this staircase that will run down and meet into the middle of the building. I decided for the wall below it, it was just going to be a relatively plain surface with an archway carved into it just for a little bit of detail. With this tower, I decided that I wanted the top floor to jut out. This way it adds more depth to the building, as well as adding more floor space to the interior of the building when we get onto it. This most south section of wall will act as a walkway between these two square towers, as well as an area for any battlements to be placed to defend against any attacking ships. When adding detail to the wall, I put in these archways that span the whole length of it. Usually these wouldn't be found on a defending wall since it offers attackers a place to hide from anyone firing down from it. Since it's located on such a high steep cliff face, the likelihood of being attacked from that location is very slim. So in this case, aesthetics wins out over practicality and function. The last area of the castle we're going to focus on this episode is going to be the bridge which will span the gap in between the castle and the city. I decided that I wanted to make it curved so it will go from a diagonal into a straight. Normally I would use the circle tool out of World Edit so I could get it perfectly lined up. However, this time I decided to eyeball it. I started by doing either side of the bridge first so I can get the right shape, and then once I was happy I went into the middle and then used stone slabs to create a stair effect going up. At this end of the bridge I wanted to add yet another line of defence, so another tower that will hold a portcullis. My first thought was to make the tower rounded, but quickly deciding to go back on that and make it square. I wanted to implement the same design as what we had for the rest of the castle, so I used this decorative stone brick capped off with crenellations jutting out from the rest of the building and adding the thicker base at the bottom. Since I wanted to make sure that the castle was functional, I leave enough room for access to the roof, as well as having a room in there to house the murder holes and the portcullis when it is raised. Tower roughly finished, and I went back to the bridge and added some structural support. I did this by extending the road down and then using an archway to bridge the gap between either cliff face. This way it'll be able to hold the weight of the bridge. Finally, I played around with the design of the tower yet again until I found another design I liked, before building the last bit of the path that will connect the bridge to the main road in the city. So there you have it. As we come across the water now, as the camera pans up, you will see the completed walls of the castle and all the outer towers. As we come around the south face, you see everything we've done in this episode. And then as we come down this gorge, you will see the bridge that we've just finished building. In the next episode, we're going to build one of the most important parts of our castle, the keep, as well as finishing off the last sections of the courtyard and also the interior walls. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next episode.